Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Libertarian Marine. Uh, Today we have with us Tim O'Connor, who is a candidate running for New York State Senate, District 51. We're going to have Tim introduce himself, talk a little bit about what you plan on doing, Tim, what's your background, and just give us the 411 on who you are. Anybody watching, this is live, so put your comments in and we'll roll with it.
All right. So Matthew, we met at an Open New York rally about a month and officially. We've met before that on the internet. As you know, and as everybody, I want everybody in Cortland to know, I'm running for New York State Senate District 51 as a Libertarian. First of all, Matthew and I have an ideological similarity in how we want to bring and reshape governance in New York State. And so I want to bring things local. I want to talk to communities about their unique problems and pathways that they can help craft their own solutions. And I think that's one of the things that the world is lacking. We don't trust our neighbors anymore, and we fight over platitudes. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I agree with you full-heartedly. I think that there has been a massive deterioration of the community and of the way we used to conduct ourselves. But being libertarians, you know as well as I do, we have an uphill battle. A lot of people on the left see us as Republicans in disguise or fascists with cloaks, which just kind of goes to show that they really don't know the ideology or haven't really spent too much time talking to libertarians. What's your take on that?
Well, I think like we're doing right now, man, we have to be willing to have those conversations with people from further right than we are, people from the left. We have to have, and I invite anyone to have those conversations. I just had a conversation yesterday with Ola Hawatma. I don't know if you know Ola, but she was running for New York Assembly 19. She wanted to serve our area, close to our area, not more my area than yours, but still upstate New York, man, same issues. You know what I mean? I see Cortland. I know that the issues in Cortland are the same as the issues in Oneonta, or at least similar, right? So Ola is in a struggle, a primary struggle, and there's some issues about the way the ballots got counted and stuff like that. But so I had a conversation with Ola, and man, oh man, like the views are similar. And so now I'm looking for people that want to come at me, come at us from the left. I want them to tell me why Biden's a better choice. I want them to tell me why Democrat policies are going to serve us, because we already have some agreements with them, right? We take a look at let's call it bail reform, okay? Maybe New York State went too far, didn't think it through enough, but as libertarians, we see the sense in that, don't we? I mean, on some level, we don't want people sitting in jail forever without a trial.
Yeah, you know, with the bail reform, it's funny because when people talk about bail, they assume because you have been arrested or you have an interaction with police that you're automatically guilty. And that's the sad part, because all bail is saying you have been detained, you have been charged with a crime, and now we are going to find you guilty at a later date. Now, yes, there should be bail for if, you know, we caught you on tape killing somebody. Okay, yeah, you're not going to get bail.
Right.
But if we have to do an investigation, there's no point in somebody who's presumed innocent to sit in a jail cell while they're presumed innocent without being proved, you know, found guilty by a jury of their peers. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we did, though, is we allowed it without some sort of judicial review. And as we know, people in our communities, because there's really some, not only because, but in part because there's some serious economic troubles in upstate New York, that guys, being exacerbated by this COVID thing, there's a lot of rampant drug use and a lot of hurting people out there. So what they were doing was people engaged in some sort of violent behavior that kind of just let them back out on the streets right away. And I think that we needed to have some judicial review. I don't think that the bail reform situation, and I think the current members of New York State Assembly and Senate may occasionally not debate publicly enough to get the best ideas available. So I think bail reform is a perfect example of that. And I think when you and I get there, brother, we're going to straighten that out because we'll make them talk to us, right?
Yeah, and so with I have my theory. I think a lot of the judges, the lawyers, especially prosecutors, police, they were, for lack of better terms, pissed off about them going and passing this law and passing this reform. So they made an example. Oh, we're just going to release everybody. To hell with it, we're just going to release everybody. And try to pass it back on the Democrats, which if you know me, I'm not gonna go and side too much with the Democrats, but this is the one time that realistically, between this and the war on drugs, we have done a disservice to our fellow countrymen.
I agree with that, man. I am not afraid to say that the war on drugs has, like so many wars the government starts, has created more problems with drugs than it did solve problems with drugs. And I think the reality is a lot of people are in jail for what I want to call victimless crimes. And people who are on drugs, experiencing drug problems, they probably do need help. And even as a libertarian, I think there's room for us to talk about money saving government programs that can help people that are struggling with drug abuse versus throwing them in jail for months. We're at $40,000 or $50,000 for 6 months. I don't know the numbers exactly. I've read them. They slip from my mind occasionally, but I know that we could do better in the community if we tried, if we put some stuff together and we give it some serious thought. I don't think we've done that.
Well, I think you're right there, and I also think that in the fact that being libertarians, we do have a little bit of leeway to. Some of our policies are more conservative, and some of our policies are more progressive in nature.
Love that. Yes.
So therefore, we are able to not even placate, but come from both sides of the fence, both sides of the aisle, and be like, hey, well, I agree with you on the Second Amendment, but you're an asshat for your abortion law because that has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Why are we even trying to put these two in the same bill?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So check this out. If you don't mind, because I did manage to get this shared to my Senate page, and I want to help you out. I have people that know our area that want to know more about you. So not only are you a libertarian, but didn't you get the Republican line as well out there?
Yeah, so I am the first third-party candidate to be cross-endorsed by a legacy party in New York State history.
Man, I love that.
Yeah, and that whole situation was interesting because I planned on running for Assembly District 125 back before Thanksgiving. That was actually when the incumbent Barbara Lifton was still planning on running another election.
Right.
And me and her, we had some words in January in Albany and everything. And I told her I was running against her then, and she hadn't made an announcement yet. And I contacted the Board of Elections in Tompkins County to get the list of registered Republicans. Not Republicans, Libertarians.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone with the commissioner for the GOP.
All right.
And she's like, hey, call this number, because we don't have a Republican running in the race, and I don't think we're going to. How would you like to have our line? Okay, sure. Which
Why
opened
not,
up
right?
a whole thing right there that I between Wilson Paculas and getting their signatures, and I was not expecting it. And of course, I have my son with me.
Hey, that's all right, man. We have to live our lives too. We're running races. We're trying to make things happen, but we've got family to take care of. And I think everybody that I know understands that and respects that.
Yeah, he's trying to play with the outlet right now.
Oh, great! Oh, look at that! Get him if you don't mind, man. Look at that. That's epic.
My little buddy.
Yeah, man. He looks like you,
Yeah,
brother.
say hi, Ryder.
Is he? Wouldn't you say that's one of your reasons for doing this? Like my kids, this is one of the reasons. They deserve more opportunity when they look at upstate New York, and I think we can do a better job.
Yeah, so it was weird because, you know, being the chair for Cortland County and trying to get the party established in Cortland, hey buddy, trying to get the party established in Cortland and everything like that, it's a lot of work. And when I was approached and said, hey, you know, do you want to run? I was like, why not?
Yeah. I think that's great. I think that we need, you know, we need to be more active. We can look around the state and see where Democrats didn't commit to a district, Republicans aren't committing to a district, and because of that, really, guys, New York State, everybody in New York State, democracy is not being represented. They're doing some horse trading, and I don't want to knock either party. They have monetary considerations. That's not it, okay? But putting guys like me and Matt, I'm half broke. I was half broke before I started this. I'm going to be even more broke when I'm done. I don't care. It's time to get these issues that I'm talking about, that you're talking about. We got to get them on the table. We got to get people to listen to us. So here we are, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point. And we have to remember that from the Libertarian Party, that a vast majority of libertarians that run are just average people. They're not career politicians. They've been in the industry. They've been in the private sector. A lot of them are business owners themselves, so they know the issues that are at hand. In current environment with the politics, especially in New York State, is if you're one of the big two parties, then a lot of times you do get the people that are favorited, and they just kind of are able to roll into the next job.
I think that's how Olaf felt. Like, I think that's
you see it in my race.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right now the presidential race is not the perfect example because you have a career politician who is an alleged child molester, a Playboy billionaire who is an alleged child molester, and then a female with no record who is got a PhD, and quite frankly, the female Democrats don't like her.
Yeah. I sometimes want to pretend those guys don't exist. I can be honest with you. I want us making decisions important to us. And I look at our state and I look at Governor Cuomo, and I know everybody that I know is kind of with me on this. Like, sometimes can't we just pretend he's not even there? Can't we start making decisions that work around this guy? Our elected officials, bro, they gave him some crazy amount of executive power. All right, that is, we see it damaging us every day. I don't know. Look, man, if you wanted to cut my hair and you were a barber, I would trust you to cut my hair and not get me sick. It's just that simple. I trust my neighbors, man.
Well, and that's the thing. We have the state holds businesses hostage by the use of licensing. And with the use of licensing, all you're asking for is your right back from the government, and now I'm going to give you money for it. Perfect example, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves that I have, is dog licensing.
Yeah, me too. I got a story about that, brother, but
I got 2 dogs. I have yet to go and renew their licensing, and they're sending me letters. Oh, you're going to get an appearance ticket. For what? My neighbor doesn't have a license to own a cat. Why do I have to ask the government to own a damn dog? Why do I have to ask the government to get married to the person I love? Piss off, it's none of your business.
Yeah, I love it, man. Dog licensing is a perfect example of what I would call government overreach, okay? Like, I know we want dogs to have rabies shots and stuff, and some of that, it's hard because occasionally they come up with a piece of it that makes sense. But I don't know. My wife would agree with you. She has a thing for dog officers. She does not like them. She doesn't want them stopping by.
No, neither do I.
Good, man, good. Let's bring liberty back to upstate New York, brother.
So here's the perfect example, all right? Another one. Well, I'll take hunting and fishing licenses. Okay? Hunting and fishing licenses. To hunt and fish in the state of New York is quite expensive, minus getting the gear. The licenses run you about $100 to whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? Why do I need to ask permission to go hunting? You still have the regulation on the bag limit, and you still keep the organization that will enforce those regulations. But I shouldn't have to ask you to go and take my daughter fishing.
I agree.
That's bullshit.
So check it out, man. I got a funny story, and it's a true story, and it happened just yesterday. Okay, I live on a small lake. I don't know if I told you that, but it's pretty cool. It's nice to live on a lake. I bought an old house 25 years ago. Been fixing it up ever since because I have access to the water, and I love it. So we're out on the water, and I see my neighbors, and they're coming in, and they're kind of waving to me, and they're like, "Hey, you know, the New York State Police are on the lake giving out tickets. You might want to," because they know me. They're like, "You might want to park your stuff right now," you know. Well, look, and I did. I got my kid. My mom made sure my kid had his boater safety and stuff like that. So my kid actually was more safe than I was. So I got to get my safety certificate. But we didn't get any tickets. It's just they were out handing them out, just kind of on a beautiful day, like collecting revenue. And that's with all due respect to them. That's their job. I know. And at some point in their career, they're going to be on the front line of something dangerous. All right. So that's a different issue. We have to respect them as human beings, but man, we can make fun of them for handing out these nuisance tickets, can't we?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, someone brought up over the weekend, they brought up a very good point talking about police reform and everything. And it was the top 2 most dangerous things for an officer to go to are domestic violence or domestic disturbances and doing traffic stops.
Yeah.
Okay, well, domestic disturbances, the police need to go. They need to do that. All right. Traffic stops. Let's talk about traffic stops.
Yeah.
You pull me over for not using my blinker, and this is one of the most dangerous things that you could do. Is me not using my blinker possibly worth getting into an altercation?
Yeah.
So that you can help the state get $150? I understand that it's a safety issue, kind of like not wearing seatbelts. That's not the state didn't pass that because they care about your life. They passed that because it's an easy money grab.
Yeah.
We're going to be real about
it. maybe it, like if your blinkers aren't working right or your headlights out, they could send you an email, right? They have a massive computer system. It's like, send me an email. I'll fix it. I promise, you know?
I mean, realistically, you're going to catch it every year when you go for your inspection.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to pass the inspection if your lights aren't working. But
yeah.
We're going, and there's certain things that, okay, like NYPD, they have a metro division.
Yeah.
That's their sole job, is to go out there and issue traffic tickets.
Yeah.
All right. you're in New York City. How fast can you actually go? I mean, I used to work down there. I know what New York City's like.
Yeah.
If you're going more than 10 miles an hour, holy Christ, there's a half a car lane.
Yeah.
We need more reform on all aspects.
Yeah. So check this out. I've got one for us. It's going to drive you crazy, I think. Up in Albany, near Albany. I wish I could find the article, but check. This place was going to have a weekend event for July 4th, and they have a liquor license, and their New York State Liquor Authority came and suspended their liquor license for an event that hadn't happened. Okay. They canceled the event. They told them to cancel the event, and they suspended their liquor license for something that hadn't happened. Like, there's no accusations that they had a big party and people were hanging out, not social distancing and not wearing masks when appropriate. They went to these people and pulled preemptively their liquor license. Can we even think that that's okay? There's nothing that happened. I don't know. What do you think?
We were told in the Marine Corps you're not supposed to profile. The police profile all the time. Democrats say no, that's a no-go, but the government just went and profiled an organization on something that they may do.
May do. They didn't.
Unless if they're Miss Chloe.
Yeah, they didn't do it.
Exactly. Put the crystal ball down. You don't know what somebody's going to be doing.
Oh.
We have to err on the side of innocence. We have to err on the side of liberty. Always.
Well, it violates my understanding of due process, for whatever that means to anybody. I'm a layman when it comes to the law, and I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to make up something that I'm not. But it was called a place called Liberty Ridge Farm, and New York State Liquor Authority suspended Liberty Ridge Farm license for preemptively telling them that they didn't place appropriate limits on the number of people that were going to attend a party that they never got to have because the liquor authority pulled their liquor license. It's like, come on, man, we got to do better than this, don't we?
Absolutely. I mean, especially if it's an outdoor event.
It's a farm, man. You know what? I think New York State's harboring a grudge against them because a few years back, and as a libertarian, I would have tried to talk them out of this. They were the ones in New York State that stood against two people, same-sex couple wanting to get married at their place, use their facilities. So they stood against that. But this feels almost like punitive. They lost that case in court. If same-sex couples, and they want to keep their licenses, if same-sex couples want to get married there, they have to let them get married there. Now, I, as a politician, would have said, look, guys, we're human beings. People have rights. People have choices. You know, let's celebrate these things. Let's share everything that we have, because that's who we are. We're human beings. And they had religious objections. So in a way, you know, it's a balancing act. Like, I respect their rights, but I would have tried to talk them out of their rights. I wouldn't have tried to threaten to take their license, I guess. You see what I mean? Like, can't we be better human beings than that?
We can, and this is where my wife throws at me. She'll be like, all right, Mr. Libertarian. And I'm like, oh boy. Because personally, my personal beliefs do not come into my politics. Right. Because I'm not even going to call myself a politician, because I'm not. As a representative of the people, I am there to represent the people, not to impose my will on the people.
Right.
So, which, for all the people out there that are saying that libertarians are fascists and cloaks, let me explain to you what a fascist would have done. You wouldn't have had a choice. You'd be getting my will.
Yeah.
At gunpoint.
And you see it every day, man. You're right.
And so, to go off of that business, that's piss poor business practice. You should have let them get married there. But
Why not? Why not?
you decided not to. That couple then has the ability to completely destroy your livelihood with bad reviews. That's the free market.
The free market will decide a lot of these things, won't it?
It will, because so I get asked, and I'll give you my stance, and then I want to hear what you feel. I'll get people that will ask me about abortion.
Yeah.
And I will tell them, politically, it is not the government's right to tell a person what to do with their body and all medical options.
Yeah.
Okay? From injections of vaccines to abortion.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think you should be doing it. Yeah. I'm a Catholic, so I don't think you should be doing it. But I'm not going to say, hey, we're going to make legislation where you can't do it. Me and my family, we wouldn't do it. Now, if the community doesn't like that or doesn't want that, as a nonprofit organization, they're not going to donate their money to that.
Yeah. All right. So abortion is one I managed to talk. I managed to avoid talking about because. So you got me on the spot here, brother. But let me be honest. Like personally, I find it unfortunate, depressing, sad. I don't want it to happen. Okay, I don't. But we get to this issue of what's someone's rights, and the more we limit it by law, the more we let only rich people have them. Right? If you have money and you want to go to another state and get an abortion where it's legal, you're going to be able to do that. But what we do is end up limiting poor people's rights. And as a libertarian, that offends me more. So I want a better social agreement where we all say, you know what, let's do what we can to increase the options that will allow people to sidestep in abortion. Okay. So let's do what we can to increase the availability of adoption, because my God, the way the government runs it now, it takes years to adopt a baby. And I think it's really hard, and it looks really expensive, and it looks over legislated and over regulated. So that's, as a libertarian, those are the things I want people to be free to make their own decisions and the best decisions for them. All right. And I don't think anybody goes, maybe occasionally, okay, but I don't think most people go into looking at an abortion like, oh my God, I want an abortion. This is great. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to increase their options. I want to increase our society's options. And I want us to do I want us to do better by each other. So yeah, it bothers me mentally. I think there's a sanctity to human life, and I'm not even that religious, but there's a sanctity to human life that I think gets violated there. So better options, more options. Let's treat each other better. Let's try to make a better societal agreement than what we're seeing. But I get it. Okay, I get it. Hopefully, I don't ever have to when I'm legislating. That's not an issue for me, because we have other things we can focus on.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of the bigger things would be, deregulation of cannabis and hemp. And, really reducing a lot of things. There are ways we can fund, as the politicians like to call, that we can allow third parties to do absent tax revenue. We don't need to tax people to death in the state to fund projects, to fund an expo center at the state fairground that has never been used besides for the fair and to make Cuomo all giggly.
Yeah.
That's all it's done. They don't hold concerts there. They have nothing. The damn thing's a giant monstrosity. And it's pointless.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're taxing me all to hell, and my roads got potholes in it that would sink a freaking Abrams tank. I mean, what are we doing?
I don't know. We have this top-down economic practice policy. Building big things supposedly makes things better, and we haven't seen any success of that in our lifetimes, as far as I can tell. His father did the same thing before him, granting out money, offering pilots to develop industrial areas, And all those places closed at the end of their pilots for the most part. Okay, the payment in lieu of taxes. I'm going to be the payment in lieu of taxes senator. Every single person in Senate District 51 gets a payment in lieu of taxes. I'm going to be like the Oprah Winfrey of pilot programs. I'm going to be like just handing them out. Like, here, you get a pilot program. You get a pilot program. It's a ridiculous way to govern. As an economics major, as an self-declared economics guy, I'm saying it's a bad policy. We need to do away with it. And we're going to have an opportunity because, guys, I tell you what, New York State's going bankrupt, and it ain't nobody's fault, but it's going bankrupt. And it is somebody's fault, and it ain't mine. It's the guy that's in charge right now. He spends money like a drunken sailor, man. It's crazy.
He does. I mean, I just saw today that there's a bill that they're trying to pass that would make it permanent that businesses could refuse you service if you don't have a mask on.
Whew, boy.
They're gonna pass that as legislation, and the sad part is there is not enough of people that are not in Cuomo's court, in King Cuomo's court, that won't stand up and be like, this is government overreach. Yeah. This is wrong. I understand we need to protect life, liberty, and property.
Yep.
That's all government's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But we can't protect people from themselves.
Yeah. There's that whole argument, man, and it feels like a wormhole to me. And tell me if you feel the same way. But if I have the virus and I'm not wearing a mask, that supposedly increases the likelihood of somebody else who's wearing a mask, blah, 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 getting the virus from me. And again, we go to respected personal property rights. If a store asks me to wear a mask, I guess, like, I don't give up a lot of, I want to resist it, but I don't. You know, if Walmart says, hey, you need to wear a mask to go in here, fine. And then I take my mask off 10 times to catch my breath while I'm in there. I don't know. I'm feeling like a rebel. You know what I mean? It's a tough situation because we're responding. I think some of it's fear-based kind of stuff. To me, it's not fact-based, but where do we end up? It feels like a wormhole where we've convinced people to be mad at one side and the other side's mad at the other side. And it's just starting to be one of those platitudes that we end up fighting over that drive me nuts. And I don't think that we should be fighting over it. I think we just accept that everybody has their own rights about wearing masks. And that's it. I don't know. Where are you at with that? Do I sound like a lunatic? I don't even know, man. I get talking about this stuff.
No, I just walk by them.
Yeah.
I don't wear it. I get them to say, hey, you got to wear this. I'm like, no, I don't. I just walk by them.
No, I don't.
No, it's weird because do we believe the organizations that have been proven by Congress to be corrupt, aka the CDC and the WHO, through previous investigations, they have found them to be corrupt and unjust. So do we believe them in what they say during this time of pandemic or endemic, if you listen to the WHO?
Yeah.
Or do we just go off of basic knowledge? If someone looks like death, stay the hell away from them.
Common sense.
Don't walk up and be like, here, let me lick your face. I mean,
common sense.
Where do we draw the line? I was talking with some people, and I said we should just do Corona parties. Get one person infected, put a whole bunch of people in the area. Everybody catch it. Just get it done, over with. Build that herd immunity and go about our business. Well, people might die. That's why we need the vaccine. And I'm like, we get a chickenpox vaccine to our kids. Do kids die from chickenpox? Well, no, but that's annoying. There's other people that are annoying too, but I can't just walk up and punch you in the face. I mean, where do we draw this line and say, hey, enough is enough?
Yeah.
Right or no?
So let's segue away from the COVID, if you don't mind. Let's talk about you because it's going to be controversial, and I don't mind controversy. Yep. But if you guys have questions about what Matthew and I are talking about, get at us, because we'll talk to you personally, politely, and respectfully about your views, where you're at specifically about the masks and about the COVID, because I have information I'd be willing to share. It's from reputable news sources. I think Matthew has the same information, and we want people to think that they're smart enough to make real decisions about this. So to segue away, you're a military guy, right? Is that correct? You were a former military. You're a Marine.
Yeah, I'm Marine, served 2010 to 2014.
That's fantastic. Thank you, brother. A lot of my supporters support military men, and they're very surprised to find out that a number of them, at the very least, in your case, you're cross-endorsed by the Republicans, but you were originally a libertarian, right? And that libertarians tend to lean libertarian, or excuse me, military guys lean libertarian. And I think that's an interesting thing that we should explore here. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Why does that happen?
So when I joined the Marine Corps, I was a registered Republican.
Yeah.
And I was a huge Rand Paul supporter.
Well, yeah, right? So yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
he's
Rand Paul.
Guy,
I mean,
man. He's good.
And you got his father, Ron Paul, who libertarians absolutely love. So one of my sergeants introduced me to the Libertarian Party, and I was like, what is this? What is this? And I'm reading the platform and everything, and I'm like, I could get on board with this. And then I became a libertarian then. And it's a lot of military guys, especially now because of the time of war and everything like that. So wartime military is different than peacetime. And during wartime military, a lot of your rights, especially a lot of your rights, are suppressed because of OPSEC or operational security.
Okay.
So you don't, when you raise your right hand, you lose your constitutional rights. Your unit can tell you what you can and can't say, how you are supposed to look. They can come into your barracks. We used to do it every Thursday. Come in your barracks, look around. If we think you have something, we could just come into in where you sleep and toss it, looking for whatever the hell we want with no warrant.
Wow.
If you were a married service member and they had reason to believe that you had something that was illegal or whatnot, MPs didn't need it because you were on federal property, and that was federal property that you were living in. So they had legal right to come in. So your constitutional rights while you were serving are gone. And a lot of military members, especially once they get out and they see that, well, not really much has changed with the political layout of outside of the military, they tend to fall more towards the Libertarian Party, where it's like, look, I had to live within this cookie cutter, and now I can tell you, no, I'm an individual person. I fought for these rights. I lost brothers for these rights. And God damn it, I'm going to exercise these rights however I feel fit.
Yeah.
And the only party that could do that is the Libertarian Party.
That's epic, man. That was a great description of why. That's. I was talking to a Libertarian Marine. He's running for U.S. Senate. I don't know if you saw any of it. Shane T. Hazel, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That guy and you and I wish I'd asked him, but I bet his take would be exactly the same as yours. You're like, we didn't have any rights. Now we do. And now you guys are telling us that, the government's kind of sashaying them away or slicing them off. Right. And so, wow, that gives, I think, a lot of people a lot of perspective on that. That was great, man. Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because, like, okay, so being in the military, you're highly trained with fire. This was my favorite one.
Yeah.
You're highly trained with fire. If you were a single service member, you had to keep your guns in your unit's armory. If you wanted them, you had to go request permission to get them from the armory. If you were married, I had to register every single firearm that I had with what we call PMO, or the Provost Marshal's Office. I'm highly trained with it. Why? Well, because if at any point in time they can go and take them. It's also the same reason why domestic disturbance, believe it or not, in the military, they take very, very serious, because there is a federal law that if you are found guilty of a domestic disturbance while on active duty, you lose your Second Amendment right for the entirety of your life.
What? Okay.
Yeah, it stems from this service member who they came to the house and they found him. He whooped his wife's ass, and they took him away. He came back, grabbed the gun, and killed him.
Okay. So one guy made a mistake. The rest of you, oh, yep. All right, so I'll vamp a little bit. What I'm hearing him say, one guy made a mistake, and now they changed the law, and we see that every day, right? One horrendous mistake, and they change the law, pretending that everybody's going to make that same mistake. Clearly, domestic violence is an issue. We get that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the constant one guy, one person, one evil person makes a mistake, and we rewrite the laws for everyone. All right, little guy needs some attention, right?
Yeah, I think he fell down because he's all wet on his butt. He fell in some water, I think.
All right, attaboy. You got to be playing. Hey, so what are we going to do to make some money and spread the word of liberty around our district, man? Like with the COVID restrictions and everybody nervous. First of all, I saw 40, 50 people with you, brother, and they were not nervous. So we know they're out there. We know people like us are out there. What can we do this summer to have some fun and teach people about liberty?
Well, what I'm thinking of, I might start doing here soon is posting up stuff to where you can meet me at one of the local parks in the area. It's outdoors. You know, we could take the proper precautions and everything that way.
Yeah.
The raising money thing is actually, it's really difficult because of COVID. Businesses are hurting. Portland County, a lot of businesses are closed. Business owners they're taking a hit.
Yeah.
So generally, that's where a lot of people get their money from. I mean, unless if you're my competitor who's taking money left and right from developers.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. Oh God, I hate that.
Yeah,
I know how it works too, man.
Oh yeah, I'm
messed up.
Oh yeah. She's the one that will say, I'm for affordable housing. I'm for affordable housing, green energy. Hey, you want to throw me some money? We'll give you that parcel of land over there, and you can make your luxurious condominiums for the college kids.
Oh God, look, I'm laughing, I'm crying, man, because it's so real. It happens all the time, all over the state, dude. It's crazy. I'm all for affordable housing as long as you give me $1,000 in my campaign coffer and fill out this 75 sheet. Hire your lawyer to fill this out, and we'll get you $1 million to build something for somebody, man. And it drives me crazy. Being a small contractor too, I see that all the time, brother.
And it's funny because the same person did that. They started an ethical investigation on the Republican that she was running against, and she won the election. And now she's doing the same damn thing. And I'm not going to give her name because I don't want to give her anybody who watches this or shares it. I don't want her to, I don't want her name to be even recognized because, quite frankly,
I love that, man.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh God! And guys, again, that's the laugh I'm doing right now. It's a painful laugh, but we as libertarians, a lot of my Republican conservative friends, a lot of Democrats, brother, a lot of Democrats, trust me, they all see the cohabitation on this issue where government and business are mixing and matching and mingling funds, and we're paying guys off to build projects. Somehow that swings back around and goes into a campaign coffer for somebody else or it's God, in Oneonta, man, it's just like Cortland, okay? They got a $10 million downtown renovation grant. They pay somebody $410,000 to remodel and open up a burrito bar. And this was pre-COVID, man. There was no COVID was not involved. $410,000, place closed in 6 months. Boom, see you later. $410,000 down the toilet. That's gone. That ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And look, the people that worked there were hardworking people. The food was good, man. I am not knocking the human beings behind this process. I'm not even knocking the city council that made the decision to award the money, because that's what the money was for. But what we're saying, what you and I are saying, is this kind of economics doesn't work. And we've been trying it forever, and businesses are still leaving, right?
Well, you got to figure, how many times has Cuomo been able to walk away while his buddy goes to indictment for pay to play in New York State, and he says, "Oh, well, I just made him the head of a committee. That was his fault."
He puts his hands up like this.
Here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. You're the governor. I tell you what happens in the military. You the head honcho. Anybody underneath you jack up, guess who's getting fired? It's you.
Yeah, that's
because you should have known.
I appointed a commission. I disbanded a commission. Like what in the world? How is that?
And I just add another word in.
Oh,
it's the commission of
Yeah. It's
a new commission. It's the same name. No, it says in there. Really, get back. All right, it's the same damn thing.
Oh my God, man. So look, it looks like you got to take care of your kid. You're having a blast, but we're at about 45 minutes and conversation gets sideways, man. We're going to say something we regret. They're going to put it on the front page of the paper or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, I already had that happen just recently.
Did you really?
Happen. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Cuomo, your buddy Matthew is right on. Yes, right on the target. He sets him up, he knocks him down, and then I don't know how it works. What is like I watched some movies that seem to explain the process, but I don't want to mention what they are. The Godfathers.
Oh, come on. I was gonna say, the Godfathers, Sopranos.
Yeah, exactly, man. It just seems like
there was a reason why he was the DA of Manhattan.
Oh, brother, yeah. All right.
What?
All right, my wife wants.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything for anybody else watching? How can they get in contact with you? Donate money, check out your policies, anything. Yeah,
so on my Facebook page, I've done a number of videos. I answer questions practically anytime, day or night. I've got email address there, the link that's available. Let's see, you and I are going to get together at some point and meet up and have an event, like regardless of, we'll do our best to follow the law and whatnot, but let's do those sorts of things. And brother, if you know anybody diehard libertarians up in Cortland and you want to send them in my direction, we can expand our reach, both of us. And so I got to help you get west of Cortland, and you need to help me come back this way towards, so we got to work out some sort of strategic mapping and figure out how we make that work,
Absolutely.
And we can do this again too, man. This was fun. We can have these conversations, and that helps, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to be trying to get more guests on here too. I want to see if Larry will come on, do something. I'm pretty sure he would. He's busy, I know that. But
well, look, I got a great story, man. I really do. When it came down to getting Ola Hawatma on my show, I talked to Larry, I talked to Tony. Those guys supported my efforts, and they made time for me, and they made time for Ola to have the conversations about liberty that need to be had. And so, first of all, the Libertarian Party is here for you. We're impressed that you're the Libertarian guy that got the Republican line, because that's not how it usually goes, man. You got endorsed by a legacy party. That's amazing. I, as you know, had the opposite experience. So we don't want to talk about that right now. I'm campaigning. They invited me to a debate, brother. I hope you watch it. We'll see if they actually let me get on town hall stage with these guys. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. And I hope they do, man. I think first of all, I respect the guys that I'm running against. I think they're caught up in a duopoly arguing style that doesn't provide us with solutions, but I think they're nice guys, both of them. I think that they are at least have community spirit that they want to run because they think they can help our area, just like I know I can help our area. So it's more like that conversation. I'm looking forward to having that conversation face to face with them guys. But yeah, man,
Good.
our party's a great party. We could reach the top. The top reaches back down and lends us a hand. So I bet you Larry would come on your show with you. I don't know. I mean, I can't make promises for him, obviously, but he's a great guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is. He's helped me out quite a bit. And, you know, he's had me on his show and everything like that. So, but no, this is good talk, man, and we'll definitely do it again.
All right.
Should do it at least once a month so that we see how everything's going.
All right, so let's plan it for August 6th at least, right? If we don't meet up before that, okay?
Absolutely. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you want to get a hold of Tim, again, go to his Facebook page. There it is.
Yep.
Popping up slowly. There we go.
We got it.
If you want to go and support me, you can also go to my website or to my fundraising page.
Yeah, do it, guys. Do it.
$5-10 got a lot of money right now.
Yeah, $5-10 makes a difference for guys like us. We're libertarians. We do more with less. We can help things. We can get a bigger audience. We can get our yard signs together. We don't have a Republican Party in there giving us 100. I don't. You don't either. I don't think, because you are left. You are left leaning, and that means the big party structure is not coming in to back you up. Period. Right? You got to make it happen. It was nice that they let you have the line, and I respect your crew of Republicans out there for doing that. I got friends that would love to meet them because they're trying to reshape this area here. So proactive Republicans are whatever, man. I don't want, I love everybody. So that's a good deal. They're helping you out and helping us grow libertarianism, brother.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, it's been a pleasure. Everybody else is going to be on YouTube. It'll be on the regular pages, on Tim's page, on mine.
Yeah.
It'll be on Cortland County Libertarian Party's page. It's going to be all over the place. So,
all right.
Check it out. Share it. All right.
Thank you.
Hey, have a good one, Tim.
You too, man.
There we go.